All right. Well, welcome everybody. Couple of things to announce as we start off. As I mentioned just a minute ago when I jumped on, this is Aaron Wyke. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at GetFiveStars and have been with the company for about 8 months full time now, and taken the place of Don Campbell. Don normally does these, our co-founder and CEO. Don had to travel and attend some meetings today, so threw the ball in my court. So hopefully you guys will go easy on me being in the pilot's chair today. We also are moving forward, having monthly webinars. So the next one will go up shortly on the website. Today's is being recorded, and barring no issues from GoToWebinar, the video and audio will be posted as well. We'll do a blog recap in the next couple of days so you can rewatch it if there's anything else you need to pick up on and go from there. As I mentioned, I'm Aaron. I see a few familiar names in the attendee list. As I mentioned, I've been with GetFiveStars for the last 8 months now. Prior to that, I've spent the last 17 years in digital marketing, starting up and running different agencies. So all kinds of web design, development, and search marketing is in my background. So as we get into kind of Q&A later on, if there's something even a little bit outside reviews, be happy to help with that. And please feel free to connect with me on Twitter. I'm very active there. I also run the GetFiveStars Twitter account most of the time too, so happy to answer questions for you there. Here's our agenda for the day, just kind of 6 high-level items to work through. One, just a high-level overview for those that are just joining as new customers or on the webinar today to try to decide if they want to give GetFiveStars a try. Take a quick look at the 6 different ways to get customers into GetFiveStars. Just a quick touch on the reporting, especially the business and customer level spreadsheets that you can download. Touching on Google reviews and that URL, right? It's been a couple of months now where we've kind of had a shakeup on the profile URL that you need to place, and I'll show you kind of the 2 different routes depending on if you have reviews or you don't have reviews for your Google profile. Then we'll give kind of a sneak peek. We have 3 new features at least that are going to be released by March 30th. Give kind of a sneak peek on those. And then I'll be happy to answer questions, discuss any tips or ideas people want covered as we get to the end today. Hoping to spend about 35 to 45 minutes with you guys. So thanks for joining. All right, as many as you know, GetFiveStars is a customer feedback platform, and the main essence is our system enables you to ask every customer for feedback, and those who are unsatisfied, we want to be able to follow up and figure out how we can help them by alerting you, the business owner or marketer, that there is an issue with that customer experience. And for those that are positive, which is usually the majority for most businesses, we want to follow up with them by thanking them and asking them for an online review. Simply put, GetFiveStars allows you to kind of customize a series of customer touch points between emails and landing pages. Every step of the way is responsive and mobile friendly. So by going through these different steps, whether it's a positive or negative experience, is the route that your customer goes through when you add them into our system. And that's where I wanted to kind of comment from there and outline some of the different ways that you're probably familiar with a few or using 1 or 2 that you can get customers into the GetFiveStars platform once you've customized all of the feedback emails and landing page emails that are out there. So the single most easiest way to add a customer into the platform is by adding just a single email address. So in the upper left, when you're in a specific business, you hit the add customer button and you can add a customer one at a time. You can do this from your phone, tablet, desktop, computer, but just putting in their first name, last name, and email address will automatically then add that customer in, and then you can check off to send that feedback request immediately to a customer. For those with lower volume or somebody who you definitely want to get that feedback request to them right away, this is going to be one of your best methods to do that. The most frequently used is by uploading an email list. So say on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis, you take a list of your customers out of your CRM or your email marketing platform or something else that you're utilizing to grasp all those. You're going to click on the Import Customers tab, and then you're going to take that customer list that you've already put into an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file and upload it. And currently right now, you need to upload it in the format that you see here by step number 2. Column A is first name, column B is last name, column C is email address. So load it up within that format, and once you do that, then you're going to want to set your list mode to automatic. And what automatic does is it automatically drips out feedback requests for the number that you specified per day. So as you can see from the example here, it's set at 10 per day. So if you had a list of 300 customers you uploaded on a monthly basis, you'd set it to 10 a day so you could drip through those 10 within the month. And you kind of want to do this for 2 different reasons. Really at a high level, you want to imitate the most normal flow of customers in and out of your business that you have. And after that, you want to take a look at if you do have success and start gaining reviews. If you sent all 300 out in one day and say you happen to pick up 3 or 5, or you really hit it big and picked up 10 reviews out of that 300, you would then have to, possibly trigger one of the filters where your profile maybe had very few reviews, but all of a sudden picked up 10 reviews in 1 or 2 days. And that's something that can look very unnatural to review sites like Google and Yelp, especially. Then if you also consider the testimonial widget that GetFiveStars has to display the private feedback you capture, all of your testimonials would be dated on the same day as well, and then you might have another 30-day gap until you upload your next list. So again, when you upload a list over a period of time, it's best to trickle those out in kind of the same pattern to empty out your list or as they came into your business. I will make small mention in the future in 2016, we will be making it so when you upload a spreadsheet, we'll be able to figure out which column is which. You'll be able to designate so you don't have to format it this way. But for right now, and this example's on the pop-up when you hit import customers, it does need to be first name in the first column, last name in the B column, and email in the C column. A couple others that aren't used as much but are there for the taking, and you can combine with the email list as well. The first one is Kiosk Mode. So any Wi-Fi enabled tablet, this is great to use in office or in store, and allows you to put it in the hands of the customer and them to fill out the initial part of the feedback request. They do have to complete their name and email address so we know who they are in the system. And then if they do give you a positive rating and feedback, instead of asking them for a review right then and there on your IP and network, it sends them just the email follow-up for them to be able to be encouraged to review you online. So this is great in areas where email isn't already part of your business process. So it might be at a restaurant where you could hand that to a patron afterwards, or a retail store, it could be at the front desk. So it helps you capture their email address, capture their feedback, and then sends them an email so when they're on their own device, on their own IP network, they're able to leave that review for you. The next one is what we call our short URL, or the feedback landing page. This is already part of our process, but you can directly link to this. So you can link to it off your website. You can also use a short URL and put it out on Twitter or Facebook and ask for your past customers to leave you feedback on their experience with you. Again, since we don't know who the customer is because they're just coming from the general web, they're going to have to fill out their name and email address when they leave that feedback, and then go through the positive or negative flow that way. And then lastly, we allow a mail merge with your favorite email marketing programs, right? So MailChimp, Campaign Monitor, Aweber. This allows, and we have a few different tutorials in our help guide and blog posts as well, that allows you to embed a URL string. So say you have a monthly newsletter, you could add a button that says, give us your feedback on that email newsletter. And when it's they're taken to the feedback landing page, it'll have already populated their name and email address on it, so we know who they are within the system. So another great way and great feature. And then we also have, not called out here, but for those that are a little bit more savvy, we do have an API and documentation within the help guide that can help you walk through that and integrating with our API. We are currently working, I should point out too, hopefully in the coming month by that March 30th deadline or sooner, we're working on building out a couple of integrations using Zapier too. So Zapier is a program that allows two different programs to connect. So one of the first ones we're looking at is integrating with QuickBooks Online. So when an invoice is created in QuickBooks Online, it would then trigger GetFiveStars to send out a feedback request. So definitely pay attention to our social channels and our blog for upcoming announcements on when that's ready, but work has already begun on that. And also feel free to respond on the social channels or send us an email to support as to another platform that you use as a CRM or an accounting piece of software that you would think be beneficial for us to integrate with as we continue to move forward. If this is successful, we'll definitely build out a few more, is what they're called, Zaps by Zapier, to integrate those two together. All right, so next, just to touch on reporting. Once you have activity going on in the system, you've customized your templates, you're adding in customers and getting them out. The next thing you want to do is, see how things are going. Most of you are already aware of the performance report, which is a nice high-level report that you can access at any time. And then you can also set up for weekly or monthly delivery as well to an email inbox of whoever you specify. So the first one is business level reporting. So when you're on the multiple locations, if you have them, or just by going under reporting, you're able to select the business level reporting. And the business level is a download in a spreadsheet, and that's going to break down at a business level each of your different locations that are out there, right? So the example one that is on here has 7 different locations, and it's going to give you all the different criteria for each of those, from Net Promoter Score, feedback requests sent and received, where people voted on the Net Promoter scale, the email open rate, online reviews, clicks to review sites. All that's going to be reported in this spreadsheet. You can then take that data and distribute it or disseminate it however you want for what you need with your reporting. So the business level reporting, you can use this if you're just a one location business, because there are a few fields here like clicks to review sites that is going to give you more information than what you get on the performance report. But this is really helpful for the multiple location clients trying to get a snapshot on how all those locations are performing. We also have the customer level reporting as well. Once you go into any location, you can click on the customer level report. You're then able to choose the types of data that you want to download from only customers that have left feedback, and a 1 to 5, anything of a 1 to 5 star rating, the positive ones, the negative ones, customers who didn't leave feedback at all, and then select a date range, lifetime, past week, past month, or a custom date range, and then download that CSV file as well. So just one more way that we allow you to go in and get the reporting that you want. Fred, yes, I see your comment that clicks to review site does seem very important. We are working, I don't know timetable, I would hope by March 30th as well, when we get kind of close to our next release. We are going to be surfacing the clicks to review sites up into the initial customer dashboard when you come in. So right now you can already see the number of feedback requests sent, an open rate and online reviews and things like that at a snapshot for that location. But we're going to be bringing that up to the business level dashboard as well. So the clicks to review sites will be visible there, not just in the download itself. And that's all part of that. Our job is definitely get the horse to water, and that's kind of one of the last steps of bringing the horse to the water to the review site. Obviously, the consumer and the reviewer is in complete control if they leave a review or not, but it's part of our goal to get them there. So thanks for that comment and question, Fred. And that will be, it's already accessible. We're trying to make it even easier for you to get at and get a hold of. All right, so the next thing I wanted to cover is Google reviews and how to link to the proper place for your customers to leave Google reviews. And I only thought it was fitting, just to thank Google, because, they just always make it so we can never rely on anything for too long without having to change it up. So I just really felt compelled to thank them for always keeping it interesting, to say the least. So here's the two options you have for how to link to your Google review profile. So the first angle that we're going to look at is if you already have reviews on Google. So if you at least have one review, this is the process that you want to go through with it. And then we'll cover the next ones after that is how to get through, if you do not have reviews. So the first thing you want to do is do a brand search for your business or your customer's business. Type in the business name and enough of the address, possibly, depending upon what your authority is, because you want to retrieve your knowledge panel. And I'll show you a visual here so you understand what the knowledge panel is if you don't. And then 2 is click on the Google reviews link. So when we look at an example for this now, oh, went too fast there. Hang on. All right, so you can see here for Kaplan Insurance, we typed in Kaplan Insurance and the city and state, and then you'll see over on the right side is the knowledge panel here, right? This is where you get photos and a map preview, website button and directions, and Kaplan already has 16 reviews here. So you're then wanting to click on the 16 Google reviews button, and that is what is going to bring up the review page that comes next. So now once you click on that, then you get this kind of pop-up layover box that comes up with all of your reviews. And when that is showing, you then want to copy that URL that is then showing up in your browser and paste that into the Google profile on your online review links. So if you have Google reviews already, this is the exact process that you want to follow there. Now, the next one would be is if you don't have reviews. So say you have 0, and that's why you're using GetFiveStars, is you want to get that goose egg off there. You can't use that process because there's a bug on the mobile version of this currently, so it won't work for any of your mobile users. So here you want to follow the same on step 1. You want to do a brand search, again, your name and however much of your address that you need there, and retrieve your local knowledge panel again. But this time you want to click on the map pin, and we're just going to use the Kaplan Insurance one again. Just ignore the fact, pretend that Kaplan now has 0 reviews, and you're going to click on the map pin so that we open up the business profile in Google Maps. And once we do that and open in the maps, right, you'll get maps in the full screen, and then you'll get the business information in the layover on the left. So this time in the Google Maps URL, we're going to copy and paste that URL and add it. And then obviously you want to pay attention to this, that once you acquire reviews, then you want to switch to the first version of that and put it out there so that you have that covered now that you do have Google reviews. So those are the 2 different ways, again, depending upon if you have reviews or if you don't, that are in the system, because otherwise the other pop-up won't exist. It's buggy in mobile. So those are the things you can do for right now. We're obviously closely monitoring this and continue to work on best ways to handle this, and also paying attention if Google fixes some of their elements and responsibility in this to make it easier. All right, now to take a look at some of the new features that we have scheduled coming out by March 30th. Some of these might hit a little bit earlier, but March 30th is our end of Q1 deadline to push these live, and most of them are already well underway in production right now. So definitely want to see or pay attention to, again, our blog and our social channels as we release these. So the first one is being able to directly respond to a customer for feedback. So you can already respond to a customer within the customer profile that's there right now. But what we are enabling now on March 30th is when you get the alert on the customer that left the information, you can just hit reply to that specific email, and it'll automatically reply to that customer privately. So there's no need to go into the GetFiveStars dashboard. You'll be able to jump in there and just reply, write an email if you want to send that privately. There's also a call to action button, as you can see below, to respond privately as well. And then also say you have, auto approving of your testimonial widget on, and say it's a positive review and you still want to respond. You can also click to respond publicly to it as well, and it will then respond within the testimonial widget publicly to that review. And then what's nice is the system captures it itself, whether it's public or private. It'll capture that within the customer profile, so you have record of that communication with your customer. One of the second ones that we're working on here for March 30th is basically what we're calling a testimonial badge. And the biggest area people have asked for this is to kind of place on their homepage or somewhere where they can, tease that they have a page of the testimonials that the testimonial widget is streaming to the website. So this testimonial badge will have kind of the overall rating and stars that are there, and then you'll also be able to choose how many testimonials you want to display. So they'll be able to choose if you want to display no reviews or 3 reviews or 5 reviews, all within this badge. We're kind of trying to finalize right now too, just some of the different parameters around the badge to see if we can give you some width adjustments and things like that on there. But we're definitely making it as something that you can easily add into a homepage or a much smaller area to tease your rating and your testimonials that are on there. A couple of quick questions that were related to Knowledge Panel. Mike asks, in the Google Knowledge Panel, is there a threshold of reviews to see the star average under the address? Yep, it's typically right at 5. So Google starts showing the stars at 5 reviews. So if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4, it will just say 2 reviews or 3 reviews. Whereas once you hit 5, it'll then show your star rating with that. So that's kind of the initial goal, is usually to hit 5 reviews. And then Lindsay has a couple of questions. I want to paste this into the Google online review links. Yeah, if you go under the online review links, Lindsay, and set up a profile, you can either select, you can select the Google Maps profile or the Google Plus profile. Either one really doesn't matter. It's just a different visual marker for it. And then you want to paste that URL into that Google profile when you're in the online review links. And then where can I find the testimonial badge? So this testimonial badge won't be out until closer to March 30th. So right now we have the testimonial widget that's already out. When you go under settings, under the testimonial widget, you're able to find that and embed that into any page or pages on your website. But this badge will be coming here shortly within the next 40 days or so, and you'll be able to utilize the testimonial badge then. All right, one last feature that we have for March 30th is we have what we're just calling a locator. So this only applies for businesses with multiple locations. So if you're an agency and you're working with a larger business, or you're a marketer at a larger business that has multiple locations, we're always interested in more ways we can get consumers into the feedback funnel. So with that, we're able to kind of create a landing page that then a user can select which location by either a store ID number or by state in a city address filter. So you could link to this from your website. It could be C-named to a domain. So you could set up, in our feedback, I just use Domino's as a brand. So you could set up domino's.com/feedback. and the page can reside then. So the first example here, just be able to command people to look up by a store number or a location number. So you type that in, hit submit, and then that would automatically funnel them to the feedback landing page for that specific location. So this is great if you're working with a large location business who's already printing their location IDs on their receipt. That's very common with larger outfits, because that's already needed in other customer service and other elements. But then you can see below the submit button, if you need help and you need to look up the location by city and state, or say the business doesn't have location ID numbers, we also offer the ability to look it up by state, and then it'll offer the city and the address within those cities to look it up. So this could be the first stop if somebody doesn't have store ID numbers or location numbers, where a customer can look that up. So this is not as proactive as sending them a feedback request email, but this definitely allows for larger entities to still get more people in the process. And really in this situation, it'd be great for if someone's utilizing this just to make customers aware that this page exists and that they can go through the feedback process by wherever they have this page located or linked off of their main website. To hit a couple of questions real quick that have trickled in, Darren asks, will the testimonial badge have an option to remove the Powered by GetFiveStars for white label partners? Yes, we'll make a white label version of that available as well. And that's exactly what Paul asked as well. So yes to both of you guys. Mark asks, will GetFiveStars start offering a feed for seller ratings to show under AdWords and Bing ads? You know what, Mark? That currently isn't on our near-term roadmap. Definitely will make note of it with that. And we've had it asked before, but at this time it's not on between Q1 and Q2, but we'll definitely bring it up in discussion again with it. And Jesse asks a very long question. Is there a blacklist where I can mark a customers never to be emailed on multiple counts? Some have multiple locations and customers visit more than one location. You know what, Jesse? I'm going to have to follow up unless Thomas wants to possibly chime in on this. It sounds like you're asking if you want to blacklist a customer from any location. So say it is a Domino's Pizza and they don't want to receive any communication from Domino's Pizza. Can you suppress them from all 200 Domino's locations? I think is how I'm understanding that. And Thomas, are you able to respond to that?
Hey, Aaron. Hello, everybody. This is Thomas. Yeah, so Jesse, I think I understand that question a little different. I think staying with the Domino's example, so let's say you went to Domino's SFO, San Francisco Airport, and 2 days later I'm in LAX, right, and I have a pizza at Domino's LAX. I would end up on two customer lists. I would end up on Domino's San Francisco, and they would ask me, hey, Thomas, how was your pizza in San Francisco? And then 2 days later, I go to Los Angeles. Now I'm going to get a review again that says, hey, Thomas, how was your Los Angeles pizza? So again, Jesse, hopefully this is how I understand it. In that way, you would get a feedback from both locations. We don't have it where, because they're treated as individual businesses, so therefore, we want to make sure, because your experience in Los Angeles may have been different than your experience in San Francisco. The customer can unsubscribe at any time from receiving any further feedback, but that is again by location, or meaning by business. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, we treat each location/business as an individual entity, so a customer list is unique to that location for the simple reason because you may want to have exactly that. Maybe your experience in San Francisco is very different than from that in Los Angeles, even though you're the same customer, but you as the business owner, you probably want to know that.
Nice. Thanks for chiming in, Thomas. I appreciate that. Okay, a couple other questions, Tom, and then we'll get to a couple of your questions, Jody. Tom asks if we offered tracking and reporting on current reviews posted to Google, Yelp, and Facebook. And the answer to that is yes. I'm just in a demo account here right now, but if you go under reporting, and we have the online review monitor. So right now we monitor the main sites, Google, Yelp, Facebook and City Search. We're automatically scraping reviews on a daily basis from those, Tom. What we are going to be expanding into this year is allowing you to select your own sites. So you'll be able to, pick which 5 sites that you want to monitor yourself. So if you're in a specific niche and maybe say you're a lawyer and you want to track Avo, you'd be able to select that yourself along with Google, Yelp, Facebook, the ones that you want to track. So it allow for a little bit more freedom with that. And then we will be returning the comments and text from those reviews as well. So we already do it for the main review sites at a base level, capturing the rating, when they come in, and that type of information, but we will be expanding it so you can choose which sites you want to monitor and bringing more of the review information into the monitoring as well. Jody asked a couple different questions, really relating around review best practices. The first one a little earlier on was asking how to get more reviews on Yelp. And secondly, asking if we could please give our best answer how to get more people to go to Yelp or the external sites. So, one of the biggest things I try to point out to people, and Don, Mike, Thomas, and I are all pretty unified on this, is GetFiveStars is a tool, and you can rely on the tool all by itself to do your work, and it can make some ground for you. But when you integrate this tool within other business processes, it definitely helps it go further. So one of the biggest things we recommend is somehow in your customer service or your business process, seeding the fact that they're going to be asked for feedback and that online reviews are important to your business. So say someone walks into a florist to place an order of flowers. I know it might sound crazy that they would walk into the florist in this day and age, but that still does happen, and I'm going to use it for my example. But they walk in, the person takes the order, starts putting it together, and when they hand it over to them, say like, hey, I have your email address from taking down your information. We're going to send you an email in the coming days asking for your feedback on what it's like to shop with us. And we really appreciate your honest feedback. And if you had a great experience, reviewing us online is super helpful for us in our marketing and to get new customers. So a small, 20-second statement like that can definitely go pretty far to making some inroads with making the consumer feel a little bit more responsible and also much more open to the idea. Then the email asking for feedback isn't kind of the first idea that they've had that you're going to want to hear from them and get feedback and possibly get an online review. So that's definitely one aspect that I tell people to focus on. I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the locator, but if you have other signage within your store that either promotes the reviews that you have and letting people know how important they are to you or where they can go to go through that process. Again, it's putting in front of that customer early on that feedback is important and online reviews are important and you care about them and you want them and you monitor them. So those are, some of the specific things. Now, when you get into things like, Yelp is always its own tricky one because it has a much smaller user population that's on it. They also have their own filter on reviewers, right? You can't sign up for a Yelp account and go and leave your first review and expect that it's going to stay. It can happen sometimes, but usually not. They're going to pull that down because they want that reviewer to have some authority and quality, and they want to understand who they are before they go posting their reviews. So sometimes, it within that, just doing some asking of questions while you're interacting with the customer. Now, in some businesses, that's all fine and well because you have a much longer interaction time with people to ask them questions. One example I give, I flew into San Francisco and was taking a cab from San Francisco down to Palo Alto. The cab I selected because it had high ratings on Google and Yelp. And I was in the cab for no more than 5 minutes. Then the cab driver asked me how I found him. And when I said online, they said, oh, well, are you on Yelp? And I said, yes, I am. And he's like, well, would you consider writing a review while we're, driving the rest of the way? We still have another 20 minutes. So he actively was asking for that review right then and there, handed me a card that had his name on it so I could mention him by name in the review. So that was a pretty aggressive ask on that one, but it just goes to show that they were trained to see if I was part of that site, since they wanted reviews for it and to put it out there. All right. Darren asked, have you guys thought about white labeling allowing the white label partners to edit their dashboard's help menu, allow us to add a link and support and their own support documents? We have had some minor discussion about that, Darren. That's another one I'll definitely take down as a note in a discussion as we go through white label features. Jody asking a couple follow-ups to my comments and answers there. They're getting a lot of testimonials, but not always the reviews, right? It's the question of posting twice. So, what you can do, you can control if you're asking for private feedback and testimonials within the feedback request process. So the customer rating page, you can say that you want a rating only. That way you still can capture the Net Promoter Score and find out if it's a positive or negative experience. And that doesn't ask them to do any typing then, doesn't ask for the comments or feedback box to be there. So that's just an uncheck on the customer feedback template. That you can take that off of there. So, if you can be savvy for your customers or who you're working with or for your business, once you have X amount of testimonials in a month, maybe the next handful or tens or hundreds that, send out, depending upon your flow, you don't ask for testimonials from those. I do think it's a good idea to always be having a handful of testimonials come through every month to build up, that own equity and in content that you own from your own customers in the form of testimonials. But once you have so many, definitely doesn't hurt to divert people if they're positive right away to the online review sites that are there. No matter what, there isn't an easy way to just automatically take that text and populate it in over to those sites because they have to log in to utilize any of those. So there really isn't a way to make it any easier or to streamline it any further from that. All right. A couple other questions on here. What about the autopilot? So the system can be set to sometimes ask for rating only, sometimes testimonials. Mark, that is one that we've had discussions on. I don't know if it's officially made the schedule, but it's definitely a feature we have talked about at length with randomizing, right? Or setting a threshold where once you have 10 testimonials in a month, then it would, switch over to that. So I have nothing firm on that at the time, but it is a feature that we've already logged and are considering for the future. So thanks for asking about that one again. Fred asks, how can I improve my feedback URL link clicks? Only one in the past 60 days. So, really throughout the whole process, right? A lot of people I see even struggle sometimes with their open rates, right? Their open rates can be as low as the 10% or 15%. So you really want to think about what your brand equity is. So one, ensuring, and I know this sounds simple and easy, but ensuring people have a great experience when they are shopping, buying, doing business with you is definitely one thing that you can do so they have a positive sentiment about your brand and about your business. The second, as I discussed, is mentioning to them the process that's going to happen with that. Truly, those that probably get the best feedback response and people wanting to give feedback and giving feedback and leaving online reviews are the ones that kind of spell out the process to people ahead of time, where they let them know you're going to get this email. We're going to ask you a quick couple of questions. We appreciate your honest feedback, and if you do happen to be really happy with us, we'd appreciate you leaving us an online review because they're extremely important to our business and our marketing. And then making sure that in your process you're sending them that feedback request at a very quick time within that process. Because if you have a very happy customer, to get them that email in a matter of hours or days is much better than 30 days down the road is when they get it. And now they've gotten further away possibly from that customer euphoria or happiness that they had, and maybe even, forgot about the transaction entirely. So that would be one. Fred commented, we have open rates at 80% and a 92% NPS. So yeah, I mean, that's really good. You're doing those things, Fred. I mean, the one other thing you could go to is, instead of in your initial email asking for the feedback request, you could display your online review links right there. So within the feedback request email, you can edit that. And I really only recommend this to people who have a super high net promoter score like yourself, and really are based on your business process or what's going on, that you're not, you're very, very, very unlikely to get negative feedback. But right in that very first email, construct it and say, hey, you can give us feedback, and maybe you place the feedback link lower. But towards the top of the email, you say, we would love to have you write about your experience with us at one of the online review sites. And then you can drop your online review links tag right in the upper part of that email. So right from that very first email, without getting a rating or an NPS score, you can forward them right to the online review sites. Now, that does hamper your ability to capture net promoter score and some of the testimonials you might get. But if you are really aggressively trying to get reviews, and you have your reputation intact, and you're not worried about filtering those experiences at all, you can go right to those. All right. So with that, I think we're going to call a wrap. We're approaching 45 minutes here. As I talked about, we are going to be having monthly webinars going forward. So hopefully Don will be back at the helm here next month. And I will be happy to join him and ride co-pilot next time. Thanks to Thomas to hopping in. Again, as I said, feel free to connect with me on Twitter or at GetFiveStars account on Twitter, and we can go from there. Super excited to be able to hang out and show some of these things to you guys today. And hopefully when we touch base again towards the end of March, maybe one or two of the features that we have been announced, and we're able to sneak another one or two in as well. If there's anything you want to review in this webinar, please, in the next day or two, I will get it posted, and the recording posted to the GetFiveStars blog as well. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to those of you that are GetFiveStars customers, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.